Right. Hi. Alright, so I will be presenting my TPRS story, and the story that I chose was Un hombre muy viejo con unas alas enormes by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And what I did is, because my PowerPoint is unable to work in present mode, I printed out the individual slides, cut out the images, and I will be showing them to you. Alright, and I think I made this assignment much harder than what it should have been, and I think that's because of the type of story that I chose. So what I did to narrow down my selection of stories is I started off with authentic resources, and then I thought of which stories could be best represented using TPR and images, especially considering all the advanced literary devices that come with advanced high school literature. And I narrowed that down to Un hombre muy viejo con unas alas enormes, and then Viaje a la Semilla. And I thought that with Viaje a la Semilla, I couldn't really think of many motions and gestures that really showed the progression of the story. And especially with the images also, I couldn't think of a way. Un hombre muy viejo made more sense to print out pictures and to create illustrations and to condense into, I did 8 sentences instead of the 7. And I also thought of the building of the sentences and only having maybe about 1 or 2 keywords in each, for the sake of the TPR and also for the task of learning new vocabulary. And I think what also made this assignment difficult is the vocabulary. So both stories were written in a time when in literature and in arts, surrealism and magical realism was very popular. So both of the stories fall into the category of magical realism, which means that the images in the story are kind of absurd and don't really make sense. But regardless, I did my best to try and put it in a way in which the students got the general understanding. So there were a lot of smaller details, but I narrowed it down to 8 main points. And I would probably put this in very much in the beginning of the unit, just to make sure that the students understand the story before we dive into the deeper meaning. What do we think the angel means? What did his well-being or state signify, etc. And I think all of the gestures and signs that I will be using are ASL again. So what that means is that students can use the gestures and use them to communicate with deaf Americans. And at the same time, those signs are going to be introducing vocabulary. Which, going back, finding vocabulary, there were many words that the students are going to have trouble with, but being able to put those words into TPR and in the sentences proved very, very difficult. Alright, so we'll start. Yes, alright. Mientras limpiaba su casa de cangrejos del mar, Pelayo descubrió en su patio un hombre muy viejo con unas alas enormes. Se veía de muy mal estar y hablaba un idioma incomprensible. Poco después, su hijo despertó sin fiebre y con deseos de comer. Cuando regresaron de pesca, encontraron al viejo rodeado por el pueblo. El padre Gonzaga sospechaba que no era un ángel. Elisenda tuvo la idea de cobrar 5 centavos por la entrada de ver el ángel. Llegó al pueblo el espectáculo triste de la mujer que se había convertido en araña. Pelayo construyó una mansión enorme y se olvidó del ángel. Un día el ángel intentó volar hasta que Elisenda ya no pudo verlo. Okay, and now I will be repeating the story using TPR, and the keywords that the students are going to be learning are the signs that I will be showing, or gestures. Okay, so mientras limpiaba su casa, there we go, all right? Mientras limpiaba su casa hay cangrejos del mar. Pelayo descubrió en su patio un hombre muy viejo, con unas alas enormes. Se veía de muy mal estar y hablaba un idioma incomprensible. Poco después, su hijo despertó sin fiebre y con deseos de comer. Cuando regresaron de pesca, encontraron al viejo rodeado por el pueblo. El padre Gonzaga sospechó que no era un ángel. Elisenda tuvo la idea de cobrar 5 centavos por la entrada de ver el ángel. Llegó al pueblo el espectáculo triste de la mujer que se había convertido en araña. Pelayo construyó una mansión enorme y se olvidó del ángel. Un día el ángel intentó volar hasta que Elisenda ya no pudo verlo. And it's kind of folds up. Okay? So I think for a story as complicated and I guess complex as one of these novellas, I think that would be sufficient for the students to understand. And then after that, we can break down the events and the people. Thank you.